2006, the International Council on Archives agreed a general set of functional requirements for software used in records administration, with the goal of helping authorities create their own specifications and influencing revisions to standards. The scope and purpose in this project is enable better management of records in organizations, support the business needs of an organization by enable greater effectiveness and efficiency of operations, and provide through wider employment of automated records functionality, enhanced abilities to support auditing of the industry. The principles and functional requirements for records in digital office environments project seeks to create globally harmonious principles and functional requirements for software used in office environments for the creation and management of digital records. There are 4 audiences in this project. First, software developers and vendors. Second, jurisdictional standard setters. Third, government agencies. And lastly, private sector organizations. These documents serve as a universal benchmark for records management compliance, serving as a basis for standards development and evaluation. It is useful for software developers, jurisdictional standard setters, government agencies, and private sectors organizations to evaluate and incorporate automated digital records management capabilities into their business operations. There are also a few related standards such as International Standard on Information and Documentation Records Management, Part 1. Also, Information and Documentation Records Management Process, Metadata for Records. And Information and Documentation Records Management, Part 2, which is Guidelines, and in ISO/TR, Information and Documentation Work Process Analysis for Records.
1.4 Structure and use. The set of guidelines and functional requirements is organized into 3 modules. Module 1 Overview and Statement of Principle, Background Information Organization, Fundamental Principle and Additional Context. Module 2 Guideline and Functional Requirement for Record and Digital Office Environment, a global high-level statement of core and optional requirement including application guideline and compliance checklist. And Module 2 Guidelines and Functional Requirement for Record and Business System, Guideline and Generic Core and Optional Functional Requirements for Record and Business System. Module 2 is intended for use by organizations seeking to implement dedicated electronic record management system. Is it meant to be read in conjunction with Module 1? Module 3 is intended for use by organizations wishing to incorporate records functionally into a business system. Is it meant to be read in conjunction with Module 1? Good practice, digital records and the role of software. As organizations introduce new technologies and new methods for undertaking work, older methods and procedures for controlling record may become less effective. In many organizations, valuable records are kept in centralized databases or shared directories. Alternatively, and not mutually exclusively, they may be widely distributed and stored on the decentralized hard drive of individuals' personal computer or in the so-called cloud or third-party controlled web-based service and facilities. Further complicating the situation, in either this scenario, not all the stored information may constitute records. In either case, major need for integrity and authenticity may be overlooked and digital record may not be available, understandable and usable to the organization or the relevant archival institution. Organizations that already rely on digital record to conduct and document business or that interest eliminating paper record for their system are seeking solutions to issue and authenticity management and retention of digital record. Number 3, guiding principle. Successful organization need information system for making, keeping and using authentic evidence that is record of business activity to meet their business need and legal obligation. In the digital environment, the development and implementations of such systems should both be driven by organization business needs and informed by the following principle. 3.1 record related principle, which have two content in it. Digital business information has been actively managed and reliably maintained as authentic evidence of business activity. As business process become more completely automated, the digital information generated by such activities may serve as the only evidence of specific transaction and decision. Maintenance of the evidence in the form of fixed record is necessary for operational reliability and accountability of the organization. This involves identifying the set of information that serves as record. Number 2, business information has to be linked to its business context through the use of metadata. In order for information to have capability of function as a record, it is necessary to augment that information with additional data that places in the context of the business operation and computing environment in which it was created. In the case of line of business system accomplishing uniform transaction, this context is derived from the system and its documentation. 3.2 System related principle. Systems should support good business information. 3.2 System related principle. Systems should support good business information management as an organic part of the business process. Although it is not necessarily appreciated as such, good record management practices are an integral part of any business processes. When automating any business process, one should always evaluate the advisability of seamless integration of record management software.
Moreover, 3.2 system-related principles. First, systems should support good business information management as an organic part of the business process. These standards for managing records are an important part of any business process, even if they are not always seen that way. When organizing a business process, it is always a good idea to see if records management software should also be added at the same time. Second, system for capturing and managing business information should rely on standardized metadata as an active, dynamic, and integral part of the process for making and managing records. With automated record solutions, can easily find and add defined environmental information using standardized language and categories. This lets the record content at different points in the record life. Principles. Records-related principles. First, digital business information has to be actively managed and reliably maintained as authentic evidence of business activity. As more and more business tasks are done automatically, the digital records that these tasks create may be the only proof of certain deals or choices for the company to be able to run and be held accountable. This proof must be kept in the form of permanent records. To do this, I need to find a set of digital data that will be the record. Second, business information has to be linked to its business context through the use of metadata. For information to be useful as a record, it needs to be paired with extra data called metadata that puts it in the context of the business processes and computer system where it was made. This information comes from the system and its documents for line of business tools that handle standard activity. In other systems, this kind of background information has to be added to the record in order to give it enough time to be interpreted and to make it as valuable and useful as possible as proof of business activity.
For the components of successful digital business information management, it has 5 parts of it. The first is policy frameworks. It is important to perform an examination of existing information management and security policies and legislation to identify areas where policy revision may be required owing to software capability gaps. Tools like classification schemes and metadata models can be used to enable good business information management software inside policy frameworks. The next is business process analysis. It is a preferred practice that process analysis should ideally precede any IT deployment. This includes identifying, articulating, and potentially reallocating roles and responsibilities. The next is project management. Every IT implementation needs to be carefully planned for and monitored during a number of different phases. Techniques for project management are effective instruments that offer financial and temporal accountability for such an initiative. The fourth is risk management. Business record contain information that may be business critical. Therefore, the decision to automate records management should be informed by an analysis of risk associated with an analysis of alternatives that are formulated as part of the business case. Ongoing post-implementation risk assessment should be incorporated into the organization's overall risk management framework. And the last part, which is capability development, software automation requires organization to develop or enhance the technical capabilities of affected line staff, as well as others in the organization who in some cases may have no familiarity with the technology. Care must be taken to develop these capabilities as well as the technical capabilities of the organization necessary to support and maintain automation efforts. For the risk and mitigations, it has 4 parts. The first part is software selection risk. Not making an appropriate determination from a range of commercial off-the-shelf products of which product is best suited for deployment in an organization. The second part is technical capability risk. Inadequate accounting for difficulties in integrating the digital management software into the IT infrastructure of the organization. The third part is communication risk. Inability to effectively communicate progress and or issues regarding the deployment to end users or management. The last part is documentation risk. Inability to implement adequate programmatic management of records surrounding software deployment efforts.
Next is 4.3 Financial and Organization Sustainability of Digital System. First, we have acquisition strategy. Summary of the funding requirement for project stage including into future fiscal year. Next, program management, detailing program management, team membership and responsibility. Enterprise architecture, delineation of how a particular software acquisition relate to other existing and planned IT component within an organization. Next, analysis of alternative, describing alternative that will consider a life cycle cost and return on investment acquisition with each. Next, risk management, description of the measure risk for the selected alternative, indicating the probability of occurring impact and mitigation strategies. Next, performance goals, articulating which of the organization strategic goals are supported by the proposed development, inclusive of existing baseline management and resulting performance improvement according to specific proposed performance metric. Next, project management, presentation of detailed work breakdown structure, delineating accomplishment and the cost attaining major project milestone, and lastly, change management for line of business and record staff. 5. Other functional requirements referenced and evaluated. The aim of this project is to harmonize multiple existing jurisdiction-specific digital record software specification in a manner that comply with the general requirements set forth in the International Standard of Record Management ISO 15489 Part 1 and 2 2001 and the International Standard on Record Management Process Metadata for Record Part 1 Principle and Part 2 Conceptual and Implementation Issue ISO 23081 2006 and 2009. The jurisdiction specific functional requirements considered in preparing this module are as follows. First, Archive New Zealand Digital Record Keeping System Standard. Next, Bundesministerium die Innen Germany DOMOA Concept Requirement Catalog 2.0. Next, Conwell Management Consultant, and lastly Department of Defense, United States.